Ew. Corleo and Destroy Lonely vocal chop beats have been going crazy on TikTok recently, and even though the beats might sound a bit complex with the whole vocal chop aspect of it, it's really simple. We'll get into it real soon. But before we do though, be sure to leave a like and a comment if you guys want to see some more of these tutorials. Be sure to check out the description as well for all the links to the boys, and be sure to check out our website. We're constantly running sales on there, and we also just have a bunch of free kits on there that you guys can just go on and cop. Be sure to join our Discord as well to stay in touch with our Twitch. We stream all the time nowadays, bunch of feedback streams and beat battles. It's really fun. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So the main thing that I picked up with these types of beats are that they always have samples in. That's kind of where the vocal chopping aspect of the beat comes in, and I didn't want to get fucking clapped by YouTube copyright, so I tried to like make something on my own. I didn't really know I was going to use this for a Corleo beat, but yeah, I just made a beat and I threw on a Juice WRLD acapella. So I basically bounced that out and I put it into a new project. And as you can see, the chopping looks a bit crazy. Like I said, these beats sound and look very intricate to make, but they really aren't. There's one main feature in FL that I use all the time for these types of beats, and it literally takes like 2 clicks. You just go to your samples menu at the top left, and then you go under chop, and then I usually go under complex, and then I choose stutter 1. And as you can see, it chops up the entire sample for you. It's got a very repetitive chop to it, but I kind of just use this for a template. So I'll just start the chop with the stutter preset, and then after that I'll go into the chops and then kind of take some parts out or extend them, exchange them. But this is just a good like base to have when you make these types of beats. So as you can hear, it's kind of a cheat code to make these beats because all these vocal chop beats sound like that. I mean, you can't really deny it. And you can obviously go in and manually chop it up, you know, go into your sample and your blade tool and kind of just dive into it, but it just takes really long to do that. Unless you got a concrete idea, I don't really advise doing that. I'd rather just do this chop feature. So now that you guys know how to do that, I'll just go into how I arranged the beat and how I added drums to it, and also kind of how I did my chops. So to start off the beat, usually people will just let the sample run, either like in a high-pitched voice or in a pitched down voice. So I basically just put an EQ on the loop that looks like this, and then I started with the normal sample, the instrumental, and I just took the Juice WRLD song and I pitched up the vocals a bit and just put it on top. So then after that I have my first few sets of chops, and this is how the first set sounds. So moving on, I'll just go over the drums I did, starting off with the hats. And I think all the drums I used for this beat was from Rio's 25k kit. It's a really dope kit, it's free. It's kind of just all the essential sounds he uses, and yeah, it's just a good go-to to have. It's a bit of a strange hi-hat bounce, I know, but with the whole thing in context, it just makes sense. And another thing I realized as well is if you do the chops on an actual song instead of just the acapella of a song, it might actually like add a bit more to it than just the acapella. It might just be a coincidence because the sample I made was kind of already in the style of the beat I'm going for. So it might be a bit of a cheat code, but I was just thinking because there's a bunch of like off claps and off snares that kind of just add to the bounce. And when I first heard it, I thought I added a bit too much to it, but then I heard it was in the sample and it actually was fire. I just had to do a bit of EQing to it. But yeah, anyways, moving on, I added a clap, and this is the Zool clap. And then after that I added these two rims. then I added this perk snare, which is kind of reverbed as well, and I only let it hit on every second clap. And now moving on to the 808s, I have 2 different 808s and I have a third one as well for a section. But starting off, I have this Yeet 808. And as you can see with the first 808, I kind of played around with the velocity a lot. And the reason for that is because I actually stacked the 2 808s on top of each other from time to time. And I just had to play with the velocity to kind of make sure it doesn't clip too much. And that's basically the intro and the first verse. So moving on to the actual hook, I had a little pre-hook section here where I brought in the classic walk snare. Gotta love it. And then I also changed out the overt 808 for the Back Outside Boys 808 from Rio's kit. And then moving on to the actual hook, I kept in the walk snare, and then I added this open hat pattern as well. It sounds a bit crazy, but it just works for me. It's not really loud as well, so it's kind of just tucked in the background. And as you can hear as well, there's different vocal chops for every bar. I think I won't go through them all because it's a lot, but yeah, all I can say is just have fun with it because it's really so much fun to make these beats, especially with that feature where you can kind of just pre-chop them and then play around with them. It's so fun to make a beat on top of that. And then lastly, I had a kick as well that I just added for the hook. And that is about it for the beat. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something new. Yeah, like I said, it's really fun to make these beats. It's kind of a new thing popping now as well, so kind of have to join in as a producer. It's probably just going to be another trend, but you know, it's far. Well, it's far, so might as well just ride it out. But before I head out, be sure to leave a like and a comment if you guys enjoyed. Once again, be sure to check out the description for all the links. And yeah, I'll check you guys in the next one.